Cartagena, where my family's from, is beautiful.
And then a plane leased by a subsidiary of yours left Vancouver this morning for Cartagena. And guess who was on the plane?
Hey everybody, I'm at Isla Beirut. It's a small island off the coast of Cartagena, Colombia. And it's time for April's Bruce Lee quotations. Let's get started.
Bruce Lee quote number 1.
Shun what is trivial. Discard what is ornamental.
So this is taken from a translation of the Tao Te Ching. This particular translation is called The Works of Lao Tzu, Truth and Nature, and it's in verse 72, and it goes like this. Therefore, the truly great men dwell in what is fundamental and shun what is trivial. They abide by what is real and discard what is ornamental. This particular translation of the Tao Te Ching is responsible for a lot of Bruce Lee quotes, and it's a very hard to come by translation.
Nothing is trivial.
Bruce Lee quote number 2.
Just as nationalities have nothing to do with one's humanity, so they have nothing to do with martial arts.
So this was adapted from a passage from Zen for the West, page 14, where it says, "It is the spiritual experience in Zen to grasp what is formless, mindless, and abodeless. This means to identify oneself with the truth by transcending one's humanity and not to recognize what is external or objective by means of dualistic thinking."
Everything he knows of the martial arts, madam, he learned from me.
But behind coolness, isn't there a certain repressing, squashing down, or lack of cultivation of one's humanity?
Bruce Lee quote number 3.
Always be yourself, express yourself, have faith in yourself.
Again, another example of Bruce Lee being given credit for the most basic statements that have existed throughout the history of spoken language.
No, you should always be yourself.
You must always have faith in yourself.
And I like the way you express yourself, too, it's pithy yet degenerate.
Bruce Lee quote number 4.
Be proficient in your field as well as in harmony among fellow men.
So this particular passage, I have not been able to find any other source as of right now, but I have to say I am absolutely convinced that this did not originate with Bruce Lee. And I'm convinced of that because of the phrasing, because of the topic matter, because of the generalization of this particular phrase, and because of my experience identifying literally thousands of misrepresented quotes that are wrongly attributed to Bruce Lee. I start to see the patterns, and this one is telling me intuitively that this is not Bruce Lee. However, I can't say that definitively because I have not identified the source other than Bruce.
Because I know he's doing it, but I can't prove it.
I can't prove it yet, but we both...
Wayne, I'll not stand for mudslinging in this office.
Bruce Lee quote number 5.
Discard all thoughts of reward, all hopes of praise, and fears of blame, and let spirit out as it will.
So this is from Edward Herbert's A Taoist Notebook, page 40, where he writes, in one of these stories, a worker in wood, whose genius had fashioned a stand for bells, explains how he disciplined his mind for the particular task, how during a period of 7 days he discarded first all thoughts of reward, then all hopes of praise and fears of blame, and finally all awareness of his bodily self.
He gives without any thought of reward.
Bruce Lee quote number 6.
Go bravely on, my friend, because each new experience teaches us a lesson.
This is actually a lyric from a song called Go Bravely On, written by Sidney Shaw. Bruce Lee was introduced to this song by James Coburn, who loved the song, knew Sidney Shaw personally, and sort of adopted it as his personal mantra. So that's where Bruce Lee derived this statement. Again, didn't originate with Bruce. It originated with the composer and lyricist Sidney Shaw.
Those were song lyrics.
I know there's song lyrics.
Those are just song lyrics I liked.
Bruce Lee quote number 7.
It's like a finger pointing the way to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger, or you will miss all that heavenly glory.
Okay, it's time for a flashback.
Don't think. Feel. It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.
This one is a fairly common Zen saying. I found no less than 17 examples of this analogy in the books that Bruce Lee owned. I won't share all of them here, but I will share one of them. This is from the Surangama Sutra and Lin Yutang's The Wisdom of China and India.
It is like a man calling the attention of another man to the moon by pointing his finger toward it. The other man ought to look at the moon, but instead he looks at the finger, and by doing so, not only misses the moon, but misses the finger also. And why? Because he has taken the finger to be the moon.
I don't think I actually ever used that finger for anything.
Put that finger away.
You'll want to wash that finger.
What is that finger thing?
Bruce Lee quote number 8.
We possess a pair of eyes, but most of us do not see in the true sense of the word. True seeing leads to new discovery.
So this is adapted from a sutra, the Sutra of the Questions of Visesa Sinti Brahma. I'm sure I'm torturing that name, but it goes like this. It is not what the eye sees, nor what the ears, nose, tongue, body, and consciousness perceive. But if you are in tune with things as they truly are, seeing in the objects of sight through to consciousness, the nature of these phenomena is just as it is. Being able to see in this way is called true seeing.
Well, I'm not seeing it.
I'm not seeing it here, Lloyd.
I just feel like I'm staring at something obvious and I'm not seeing it.
Bruce Lee quote number 9.
Remember, success is a journey, not a destination. Have faith in your ability. You will do just fine.
So this is, again, not a Bruce Lee quote. It comes from Ben Sweetland. He wrote, "Success is a journey, not a destination," and Bruce derived this from a book of quotations called Distilled Wisdom, edited by Alfred Armand Montepert, page 316. Have faith in your ability. You will do just fine. Again, so simplistic and basic a statement, and so overused in spoken language, that it's insulting to try to claim that Bruce Lee came up with this.
Words of wisdom.
Bruce Lee quote number 10.
Flow in the living moment. We are always in the process of becoming, and nothing is fixed.
So this was taken from Carl Rogers on Becoming a Person, page 122. He tends, in the freedom of the therapeutic relationship, to drop such fixed goals and to accept a more satisfying realization that he is not a fixed entity, but a process of becoming.
Though I think they're in the process of becoming amphibious.
Bruce Lee quote number 11.
The meaning of life is that it is to be lived.
This comes from Frederick Perls in his book Gestalt Therapy Verbatim, page 3. We discover that the meaning of life is that it is to be lived, and it is not to be traded and conceptualized and squeezed into a pattern of systems.
Yeah, well, I probably don't need to tackle the meaning of life every time I make a decision about clothes.
Bruce Lee quote number 12.
If you always put limits on everything you do, physical or anything else, it will spread into your work and into your life. There are no limits. There are only plateaus, and you must not stay there. You must go beyond them.
This is taken from the recollections of Sterling Silliphant, I think in an interview he did with John Blittle. It appears in The Art of Expressing the Human Body, and, that's Sterling's memories of Bruce, so I accept that Bruce Lee said it.
Well, if he said it, folks, it must be true because he is a florist.
Bruce Lee quote number 13.
Take responsibility for your actions.
Again, another very, very basic statement that they are trying to give Bruce Lee credit for. For God's sakes, every parent who has ever lived has said this.
At some point, people have to take responsibility for their actions.
You have to take responsibility for your actions.
But you must take responsibility for your actions.
Miss Goddard believed that the girls should govern themselves in order to learn to take responsibility for their actions.
I think it's important to take responsibility for your actions.
Basically, they just want to hear that you take responsibility for your actions.
You don't take responsibility for your actions.
Now you're going to take responsibility for that action.
That's it for this month. We'll see you next month.